in beautiful Minneapolis. Difficulty getting this to go live. We did like a 15-minute show. Come
Great
to find out that
content.
we yeah
Great
great
content.
content. Come to find out we weren't live. So, but good to have my guys back here. Brett flew in from Chicago for this weekend. Razor Ramon, Timberwolves fan extraordinaire, and excited we'll be at Target Center here. Game starts in about an hour and a half, so we definitely got to get out of here soon. But excited for Game 4. Brett, you were at Game 3 Friday night. Tell us a little bit about the atmosphere and the game itself.
It's electric, like I said. Lakers in town, that always means something, whether it's regular season, preseason, but it really means something in the playoffs. And we took LeBron James's best punch, and there's just kind of something magical about watching that. It was buzzing. We've all kind of been to a handful of playoff games. I think that there's something too with the fan base just continuing to, like, the snowball's growing over the last handful of years during the Ant era. So it's just like it's so loud, and I anticipate it's going to be just as loud today. As I mentioned, I think that the history of the Lakers and Minneapolis and Minnesota, moving to LA in 1960, and we still got a couple banners up, and we still got the Armory here in Minneapolis. So still a lot of Laker footprint here. So I think that this matchup really means a lot to the city. And you can feel that in the Target Center. And luckily, things were buzzing in our direction. It was a chaotic atmosphere, but in a positive light. So hopefully we can keep that up and keep the Target Center rocking today in the same fashion for Game 4.
Yeah, and you got to witness a legendary performance from a legend, LeBron James. 38 points. Yeah, 38. I think he's 5'8" from downtown.
Logo threes.
Yeah, logo threes. And I mean, it was funny. You guys probably seen the video with, I think there was like a minute or like 2 minutes left in the game of him and LeBron chucking it up and talking about, which pissed some people off. To me, I thought it was kind of cool because that's just not their personalities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're both characters. LeBron's well known as a good dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and they have admiration, and respect for each other. But look, Razor talked about LeBron's performance on Friday, which was ridiculous because I know we were all very nervous as it was playing out.
Scared the hell out of us. But I've been hard on LeBron. I think a lot of people have been hard on LeBron for a lot of his acting, his flopping, on-court acting, flopping. He oversells it. But I think we have to take a step back and appreciate what we're watching. We're watching one of the top 3, some would argue the top player of all time, still playing at a high level at age 40. Who knows how many more games he has left? And we got to see him just go off. And a three-point shot hasn't always been his strength as a player, but he's really added that to his repertoire, and he could still get up there. He had the alley-oop dunk. And it's just, as much as it scared me, as much as I want to see the Wolves succeed, I do want to appreciate what we're getting to see today. We get to see it live and in the flesh. But it's as a player, I don't think anybody's done that at age 40, what he's doing right now. And again, scared the hell out of us, but I want to take a moment and appreciate him for the player that he is, the memories that he's given us, and that moment when it really reminded me when he was talking to Anthony Edwards, during, I think, a ref review. Just see the relationship he has with other players. It is a reminder that, despite a lot of the reputation he has, he's a good guy. And, we're lucky to have been able to watch him, one of the all-time greats, play in person. So I'm thankful.
30 years from now.
Yes, we got to see
LeBron today in April of 2025.
Now on the flip side for the Wolves, we got to see a nice closing and some clutch play from Anthony Edwards, who quite frankly has not always been known for his clutch shooting. I believe there was a point at this season where he was 2 of 19 or something. I think it might have been a little worse. I mean, he had that shot against the Grizzlies in the playoffs a few years ago, but his numbers aren't the greatest, which a lot of people are kind of surprised that he came up as a top 3 candidate for clutch player. But obviously, his maturation, what you've seen the last month of the regular season, now in the playoffs, talk about Ant's performance and his adding that to his bag now, where he can be the guy to depend upon for clutch shots.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the bright lights, I think everything we just talked about with LeBron James being in town with ESPN and TNT cameras, and these we're the top of the card right now. even though we're playing a matinee game, even though we played late on Friday night, I think that when you look at the slate of games for the NBA playoffs today, it's like, all right, well, Wolves Lakers is the main event. Like, we have the most star power, so I think that gets him going in a sense. And he started a little bit slow from a scoring standpoint in Game 3, but as we discussed prior to Game 1, can we dial into that playmaker? You know, can you collapse a defense just because you are Anthony Edwards and you're driving? Can everybody swarm in on you? And then can you find Mike Conley or Jaden or Nas in the corner? And he did just that when he needed to. Time to take over the scoring load. It's like, okay, all right, we're going to penetrate, pull back, three ball in Luka's face, and when the bright lights are on and the clock is ticking down, man, the kid just has it in his DNA. And it's, to me, I think it's the first time that we've had a gentleman in a Timberwolves jersey that you can look at to say, like, this guy's going to come alive in the last 3 minutes of the game. Loved Kevin Garnett. KG was, I mean, he's all of our, he is Timberwolves basketball. I mean, he's a GOAT, Hall of Famer. I don't think Ticket, though, like, had that offensive take over a game. Like, we need like 15 straight points from you in the last 5 minutes of the game. Can you do it? That wasn't Ticket's game.
No.
But that is Anthony Edwards' game. He's like, okay, I'm going to score one way or another. And if it's not me scoring, you're going to think it's me scoring. I'm going to kick it out to Nas or Jaden in this case. And he found all the right guys, and he came alive when he needed to. And, man, it's just a pleasure to have him. So hopefully we get the same kind of production in a couple hours here.
Yeah, and the great thing to see with him is if his shot's not falling, I think, what game was it where he's 8 for 22? Was that 1 or 2? I believe he's 8 for 22 for the field. I think it might have been game 1, but he still had, I think, 9 boards and 8 assists. So, I mean, he's getting the players involved. I mean,
the reason that was kind of a Jada Nas
game. The reason they won game 1 is because Edwards, when he was drawing doubles, I mean, he was kicking out and guys were hitting shots. So, I mean, just had that maturity, how to handle the double. Remember, earlier in the season, he was pissed off in the locker room after a lot of those games they should have won.
Yeah.
And once he talked to the GOAT, you know, on a phone call, you know, he's got the advice on how to work out of that. So, but Razor, you know, Rudy Gobert, friends, media, fellow players even, and you know, he's had a magnifying glass on him this series. Everybody wants to throw out the video of Luka hitting the 3 over him from last year's Game 1 of Western Conference Finals, but statistically it's not necessarily shown up. But talk about Rudy's play in this series and some of the plays he's made, because offensively, I mean, I think he's done great. The numbers, the points and the rebounds might not necessarily be there, but just talk about his defense especially.
I mean, you said it. He's the lightning rod, right? We hate on him at Man Cave Sports. The local fan base does. The national fan base does. Fellow players. I think other coaches might actually give him some love. And he has some warts to his game. He doesn't have great hands. He has trouble catching the ball. He has trouble finishing around the basket unless it's a dunk. And he's not really rebounding in this series. The numbers aren't really showing very well for him.
He dropped 3,
6, and maybe 5 in the other. And that's really not like him. He's usually in the 12 to 14 range. And in Game 2, I think he had maybe 8 rebounds that he probably should have had, got in his hands, and he just lost them. So I do have some things that I would criticize him a little bit on. But the defense has been ridiculous, not only as a team, and he's the anchor of their defense, but also being caught on switches. Luka had that famous moment last year where he hunted him, hit that step back 3, who again, greatest defenders of all time, who Rudy is one of them, wouldn't have been able to stop that shot. I mean, that was just an incredible shot by an incredible player. And people make fun of him about that. It's just not fair. And Rudy has made big plays several times in this series. Game 3 had the rip on Luka when he was trying to set up for a 3, led to Jaden McDaniels getting down court, getting a layup and one. Luka
on the same switch that you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's the same switch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, top of the key. But then I think you got a bigger picture. You have to look at the overall scoring that the Lakers have been putting out for the 3 games. 95 in Game 1, 94 in Game 2, and then 104, which is their best offensive output in the series. And he's been one of the main reasons, along with their team defense, the plan. Jay McDaniels has been ridiculous too. But Rudy's the anchor of their defense. He's the glue of their defense. So credit to him. And then, Mr. Steve, you're going to love this. I hope you're listening. But Finchie doing a great job, I think, of managing his minutes. he's not playing a ton. He's playing, but he's still playing. He's making major impact when he's in there defensively and drawing attention because a bunch of guys are boxing him out. But he's playing about 25 minutes, so credit to Finchie for managing his time and maximizing his time.
Yeah, and something I just thought of. I mean, obviously we talked about it. And Jaden McDaniel's been phenomenal, especially in games 1 and 3. But I'm going to talk before we go to our closing portion here. Talk about Julius because he has played a solid series. Now I know there was the one game he had quite a few turnovers. I think it was game 1. He might have had 7 turnovers if I'm not mistaken. Which, you know, when Jules is sitting playing volleyball, sometimes he tends to turn the ball over. And I think you said on the show the other day, I mean, that's just part of his game. Jules is going to turn the ball over a little bit, but the defense has been solid. I mean, he's been bodying up on LeBron, and he's taking great shots. I mean, I seen the post game after game 3 where Ant was giving him shit for only taking 13 shots at the podium, and it was just like, you know, and Jules has been level-headed all season. I know we criticized him early, but ever since he came back from that injury, he just seems to have meshed well. I know there was a stretch there towards the end of the season where I think they were like 17-4 to end the season, and that was with Jules right after Jules came back.
Yeah.
So I mean, you think about how well they've meshed. The defense, which was their trademark last year, it wasn't there for the first month of the season. But now, to your point, Ramon, we've held them in the 90s 2 games. So you see the defense, you see it's starting to remind me of last year. Remember the Nuggets series where Nah and Jaden clamped down on Jamal Murray, and it was one of my favorite highlights in Timberwolves history because Jamal Murray was just frustrated; he couldn't move, and you're starting to see some of that defense now. And like I said, Jules, as much flack as the Wolves got for the Jaden, we were amongst the critics. But I think you guys all said at the time you understood the move. I think long term it was to keep Nas here, and I gotta say I hope Jules sticks around. He's fitting in with the team now.
You can afford them both.
Yeah. Any quick thoughts on Jules?
You go. I got something.
Yeah, no, ditto to everything you just said. He's just a steady force, and you hate to like make it an apples to oranges, apples to apples, whatever comparison with him and Cat. But I think that, as we all kind of discussed, it was frustrating to be a Wolves fan from like November to December as the national media is like, oh my God, Cat getting like 30 a game, Cat dropping 40. Like, yes, we know. We have all seen him do this. You guys all continue to make fun of him. Wait until the playoffs. Wait until Cat has 4 fouls in the second quarter and he loses his head and then frenetic energy takes over. Love Cat, as we discussed. I'm not bashing on Cat, but man, I think that the world is kind of learning like what we have dealt with playoff Cat, and you see that yes, 50, 60 point Cat does exist in the regular season, but playoffs get to him. I know that Julius doesn't have a wonderful history in the playoffs, but maybe just being like kind of the second, third man right now is maybe that's the secret sauce for Julius to have success in the playoffs. But he's just been such a nice, steady hand that he gets out there, and I'm like, okay, cool, a little bit of stability here. Julius back out, hitting his threes, making plays, banging, put some pressure on LeBron. You know, LeBron, as we just discussed, is amazing, but 40 years old, like, wear him out. Get in there, beat him up, man. Like, make him work for it. So, man, hats off to Julius. I've probably been the biggest Julius hater on this podcast all year. So, real big flip-flop job by me.
Mr. Steve is right.
Yeah.
We've all given it to him.
So, snap tip to Julius. We're glad to have you. Opt on back in. Let's do it again next year. Good to have you, Julius. So,
by the way, shout out to Surly for this fine beer. Luca, if you're in the locker room watching, I know they last year you were drinking a Fulton Lonely Blonde before Mr. Finley took it from you.
Yeah.
But after the game, come to Surly, we'll buy you a beer.
Yeah, you're not in Dallas anymore.
Any quick thoughts on Jules?
Just real quick on Julius. I mean, yes, we all got impatient with the trade. But we have to remember, it took place, 2 days before training camp opened up?
Yeah.
Hard to plan, hard to gel that quickly. And it took some time. And it's really fun to watch Julius playing so well. His history, as you mentioned, Brett, has not been great in the playoffs. I think 35% from the field overall, 25% from 3. But right now, he's shooting, I think, 51.7% from the field, 50% from 3. And I want to credit Dane Moore podcast. They pointed this out. A a lot of Laker fans are probably like, oh, we're just going to keep letting him shoot those threes because he's historically not been a great three-point shooter, although I think he hit 40% during his all-NBA season. But since he got hurt, he was out, I think, all February. I think they, according to the Dane Moore podcast, want to give that love there. He's been shooting 40% from three since that time. And I know he turns the ball over, part of his game, but and even when he like kind of backs in LeBron and it's failed, LeBron strips him, LeBron blocks him. Like you said, wear him out, beat him up a little bit, make him play defense. For all that he's doing as a 40-year-old, he's still 4 years old. And they're asking him to do a lot more than they probably is fair to ask a 40-year-old player to do. So if Jules can continue, Sticky Fingers can continue to beat him down a little bit, wear him out, even if it doesn't lead to a bucket, those are, as we are boxing fans, like those are body shots that can pay dividends late in a fight or late in a game. So,
all right, we got to get out of here soon, but final thoughts here. Just tell us what you're most excited about for today and what you're most nervous about, Brett.
So I'm most excited about, we're up 2-1. We haven't really seen a masterclass from the bench mob yet that we know is in there. We had monster game one from Nas. I think we're still due a big showing from Dante. I think we're still due a good Nas game. Good Naw game. We get 12-14 out of either one of those guys, and then like a decent, solid Nas Reed game. Hopefully, and Dante, the rest of the guards can find Rudy for a couple lobs. Maybe he'll get 10 or so and can put up a nice like 130, 140. Just to have a real scoring run. And just, man, something about a Sunday matinee in the spring with the playoffs. So I'm excited for that atmosphere, obviously, as we touched on. Lakers are in town. A lot of history games. Stars galore in this game. What am I most nervous about? Luka Doncic recovering from that flu bug that he's got and seeking revenge. We took LeBron's best haymaker on Friday. We withstood it. I don't know that anybody on earth can take LeBron's best haymaker and Luke's best haymaker at a time. So hopefully we can just kind of stymie that and only have to deal with one of them having a generational game. But we'll see. So nervous about Luka, but I feel okay. I think we've got the levers to pull as we've seen with some defense here. So
I'm really looking forward to the atmosphere. It's the playoffs. It's a different level of energy, especially here. Minnesota really comes out when we have a good basketball team. They come out full force, and it's the playoffs, and it's the Lakers, and we're getting to see our guy, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, all of these guys grow up before our eyes and doing it on a national stage, showing people who they are more and more. Looking forward to that. I actually believe Ant has been great in the playoff or in the series, more or less, in terms of a playmaker. Defensively, I think he's been very good. I think he's going to have a big scoring day today. I think Dante's due. You touched on it. I think he hasn't been shooting threes very well.
10 to 15.
Rim protector, though. 3 block shots in the last game. But I think he's going to, and he's been a little handsy defensively rather than moving his feet. But I think he's going to hit a bunch of threes today. What I'm nervous about, Wolves' complacency. They've suffered from that all season. When
those first quarter starts too.
First quarter starts seem to be corrected in game 3.
Yes.
But and they overcame it in game 1. But I'm a little nervous about, are they going to be a little comfortable having that 2-1 lead now? Stay focused. You get it to 3-1. Series isn't over, but you're in the driver's seat. Fully.
For me, I touched on it earlier. My son and I talked last night about maybe taking last year's run for granted because I think once we cleared the Suns we were nervous about and the Nuggets in 7, the defending champs, I think a lot of people, ourselves included in the media pundits, thought the Timberwolves were going to beat Dallas and go to the finals, and that didn't happen. We lost 2 heartbreakers in games 1 and 2 with games which we had leads in the last 2 or 3 minutes of each, and Luka with the heartbreaker over Rudy. So for me, I'm excited to be here, man. You've got Ant just coming of age right now. You've got a fun Wolves team that plays together, but you also have LeBron, legend, just coming off of a 38-point performance at 40 years old, ridiculous, and Luka, who was part of probably the most controversial trade in association history just a couple months ago. And I think, you got that 2-headed monster that So to me, it's just like, holy shit, we're gonna see. You know what I mean? This game might be legendary. This might be what we're telling our grandkids about. You know, hopefully, many more years for any of our children watching this. But, anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, and what I'm most nervous about, I don't think that LeBron's going to replicate. I mean, he could have a good game. He could go off for 30, but I don't think he's going to replicate Friday's performance. I mean,
His best punch.
and if he does, then we're probably in trouble. But I'm nervous about a Luka 40-piece redemption game. You know what I'm saying? Because Luka's probably getting a little pissed off, and likes to antagonize him. I think they get along.
I think they do.
Decently, because Ant's hard to dislike. You can tell all the players love him, even though
Everyone's giggling.
Yeah,
there were some clips of them kind of being boys before the game. I think
so,
you don't see much of that.
Yeah, because much like LeBron, I don't think other players despise him. There'll be people that try to poke Ant, but I mean, Ant's just a likable dude. You know what I mean? And he. We talked about it. He's not like KG. Like KG was mean. You hear some of these players talk about the shit he used to say to them. And
joking Noah.
Yeah,
I took a poster on my wall. Now I hate you. Yeah, Villanueva.
Yeah, so I mean, Ant's just not like that. But I don't know that he gets under Luka's skin to that extent. But like I said, Luka's probably feeling some pressure right now. He had a rough game Friday, and I'm sure it was legit, with him with the flu, because obviously he didn't come out for the second half right away. But I'm just nervous that Luka.
He'll use that jaw.
So I mean, if Luka's feeling good today, man, he's going to certainly go out there and try to do it. But then, he's got to play defense too. So But I'm excited to get there. We got a tip-offs in about 70 minutes, so we got to get the hell out of here.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching. We'll have more coverage coming up soon. And go Wolves. Brett, you want to hit the X, and we should be good.
Let's do it.
Thanks, guys.